Good morning, friends. It's Tuesday morning, July 21st, 2026, and you have found Coffee on the Porch. Welcome. A minute or two late this morning. But we're here, we're live, and I see the regulars streaming in the room. Welcome, friends. My name is Eric Folkerth. I'm a pastor, musician, writer, community activist. And once a week on a Tuesday morning, we gather to talk about spirituality, politics, music, life. It's called Coffee on the Porch. Welcome. Come on in. Come on in. The water's fine. There's no water. We're near the lake, I suppose. Hi. Welcome. Sorry I was a few minutes late. I got distracted. Welcome. Welcome. This is where you are. You have found Coffee on the Porch. My name is Eric Folkerth, as I just said, and I do this live stream once a week here. We talk about issues of social justice, music. We talk about spirituality, life, politics, all the things you're not supposed to talk about. You know, religion and politics and social justice and all those things. Welcome. All right, so let me say hello to those of you who are popping in. Looks like the feed is a little wonky this morning, and also looks like I don't have my phone. One moment. I apologize for being a moment late. I got distracted. That's all it is. Good morning, Peg Davis. Haven't seen you in a while. Good to see you, friend. Good morning to, wow, look at this. 10,000 cups of coffee. I feel like we must have something in common, my friend. 10,000 cups of coffee has joined Coffee on the Porch this morning. Welcome to you. Good morning, Linda Waring up in Ohio. Nancy Bryant in Foco, Colorado. Dan Gilliam, south of me. Good morning, Rebecca Pifford, Vera Reed, Mary Ann Degenhart, Brittany Miles. Welcome to you. Good morning, Janie Henderson. Peg says good morning. Bobby and Debbie say good morning. Linda says good morning. Brittany Miles says wow. I'll take a wow. Why not? Wow. Nancy Bryant says General Badass. Well, yes, reporting for duty, General Badass. Janie Henderson says, good morning to Eric's followers, fans, and friends. Yes, of course. Debbie and Bobby are in their usual position with their Coffee on the Porch mug, which is my version right here, and the bagels and lox. Always sounds lovely. Are you on the porch? Are you? It's 88, y'all. If you are, God bless you. You have a fan? I can sit on the porch in 88 if there's a fan. Good morning, Dan Gilliam. I've already said that. And good morning, Tara Lang. Whoa, what happened? My screen just went wonky. All right, welcome. You're coming in, as you always do, and we're going to spend the hour. And a little reminder, if you want to get reminded about the gathering, just as a process here, I send a little text reminder. You get, if you subscribe to When EF Talks, good morning, Julie. If you subscribe to When EF Talks, you get a little text reminder about this gathering. But if you, you get an email when it goes live. But you can get a text reminder too, was my point. And it's just a way of getting nudged about, this is what Bobby and Debbie do, for example. They get their coffee, they get their little snack, the little morning breakfast, and they get situated so they can talk with us. Cat Bird, good morning. Welcome to you. So if you want a text reminder, then go to that place right there. And you can scan the QR code. I'll put it up at the end as well. Well, busy week, lots going on in everyone's lives, including my own, as I shall share in a moment. Not on the short. Yeah, see, Debbie, I didn't think you were crazy. Debbie says, not on the porch, not crazy. Yeah, I mean, I really do. About this time, I would come in, but every morning, I do like to go out on my porch and spend a little time out there. 5-10 minutes, little prayer, meditation time, looking at the garden. I'm going to show you another garden pic. I'm going to show you another backyard pic, which is amazing today. But let's start where we usually start, my friends, with the question of the morning, the question of every coffee on the porch morning. How is your soul? How was this week? This is our ancient Methodist question. Our ancient Methodist question. Yeah, the porch is awesome, Kat. See, this is why I used to love to do this out there. I mean, it's an awesome porch for a live stream. It really is. And if I was super wealthy and had a production assistant that could set me up and tear me down, I'd be there. But we don't have that. All right, the first thing we do is we ask ourselves, oh, I always pick up the guitar. I've skipped a step. I always skip a step, which is the breathing and the resting for a minute so that we can answer the question, how is your soul? That's what we got to do. Good morning, Michael Wesley. Good to see you, buddy. Take your coffee, your tea, whatever you drink. I've got my... Listen to that big pour in that big cup. This is my Onyx coffee from Fayetteville, Arkansas. Cheers, friends. Take a big sip of whatever you're drinking. Sit back for a moment. Pause for a moment in the company of friends and ask yourself the question, how is my soul? Oh, I always point the wrong way. It's reverse of what it should be, and so I'm always pointing the wrong direction. Oh, God, that's hilarious. How's my soul? How am I doing? How am I feeling about life? What's going on with my spirit? What am I thinking about the world? Worried about anybody here? You got something personal going on that you want to talk about? Good morning, Jan Wardle. I'm going to take a couple more big sips. I did take a big cup. I got to tell y'all, last week, I did not finish my coffee. Tuesday night last week, I'm in bed about to and I've got a thumping headache. I thought I had a migraine or something. I thought I was having a stroke. Not a joke. Felt horrible I started eating. That's what I do when my body hurts, I eat, thinking that's going to make it go away. It doesn't. Anyway, came back up here, picked up this carafe, and it felt about this. It was about half full. It's like, holy crap. I never drank all my coffee, Eric. I jumped up after coffee on the porch, went off with the day, and I had a massive caffeine headache. So, user error. I will drink my coffee, and I will add to the total right here. But how's your soul? Leave me a comment. I noodle on the guitar while you comment. Okay, that's what we do. I just love this riff. Isn't that beautiful? Can you hear it? The Santa Cruz is sounding particularly great today. Something about tones. You know, that's why people use the singing bowls, that kind of stuff. I'm going to turn this down slightly because it does look like it's peaking a bit. I think that'll be all right. Hope it sounded okay on your end. Y'all can tell me if it sounded okay. All right. Let me see what you guys are saying in the chat about how is your soul here. Yeah, all right. Kat talked about the porch. We said good morning to Jan and Michael. Yes. Bobby Berger says this. Last Tuesday, I Zoomed with Bud Brown about opening up a service to people in crisis, starting in Oak Cliff. Debbie and I went to Life Faith in Oak Cliff for the ribbon cutting. Details to follow. Is that the event that Bud invited me to, an event that I could not attend because of a funeral? I believe that was Friday. Is that right, Bobby? Is that the same event you're talking about? I'm excited about this. There's a new Bud Brown, one of our members, is he's had a lot going on himself in the last few months, but he's back with it and has an interesting new program about caring for each other. I'm very excited about this. I'm happy you may be a part of this, Bobby. That's going to be great. Linda Waring says she is fine, ups and downs, the way life is. My calendar page today has a Deepak Chopra quote, all great changes are preceded by chaos. Okay. Yeah, that's not wrong. I mean, let's remember this is a famous old meme that the Chinese word for chaos is crisis and opportunity. I don't know if that's true, by the way. I don't write Mandarin. Maybe somebody can tell me if that's actually true, but this is what I've always heard, that the characters that make up the word what is the word? Anyway, change, I think, is crisis and opportunity. I think that's, I shouldn't do this off the top of my head. I need more coffee. That's what happened. That's what it is. The thought went out of my head. It was a good thought, though. Tara Lang says, my soul is very good because I'm hitting my 3rd week of 3D print class, printing out a dog leash tag, excellent, and working on my business, and our anniversary is next Monday. Tara, did you know that Pastor Kay has a picture in her office of your wedding day? You and her and she and Rick all standing together at Kessler on your wedding day. I think that's a wonderful reminder. Catbird says this. Oh, this is cool. I found the book you talked about, The Power of Regret. Have found it very interesting and helpful. Remind me the name of that. It is a really good book. I've read several books since then. I hate to admit it. I've been on a tear of reading lately. Maybe I shouldn't apologize for that. What's bad with reading? Why would I be upset about that? I'm very proud to have read a lot lately. That's what I should have said. We talked about this book some time back, and I'm going to come. This is going to be one that I will definitely come back to several times. Let me find where it went, though. Where did it go? Books. The Power of Regret. Daniel Pink. The Power of Regret by Daniel Pink. This is a really good book. Kat, I just knowing your history the last couple of years, yeah, that might be a really good book for you. And Pink talks about, let's just review. We talked about this several weeks ago. Pink talks about that we have this in the society today, no regrets, YOLO, and just push forward. Don't look back. No regrets. And Pink says, no, actually, our regrets are kind of a superpower of humans, because they can, if we pay attention to them in the way that they can be helpful, they can teach us about where to move from now. Now, if we just ruminate on them, then yeah. Oh, I like this. Catbird says this. I read The Average Person Reads 12 Books a Year. Happy to say I'm above average. Power to the above average, Cat. It was a good read on Libby, but I ordered the hard copy so I can highlight. Yeah, that's kind of what I do now. I listen online, and then I find a copy that I can mark up. Yep. All right, friends. Well, not a lot of comments. We have a decent group here. Not a lot of your comments today. It feels bright in here today for some reason. I'm not entirely sure why. I think I may just have the computer screen up higher. That's probably what I did. Well, thank you, friends. Is Paula here? Paula, you called me just before we started, and I couldn't pick up because I was rushing to get started. But if you're here, I will call you back as soon as we're done. Because I actually, believe it or not, do want to talk to you as well. All right, friends. Thank you for sharing your stuff. Let me share with you, as I always do, a bit of things that have been going on with me. First off, last Tuesday evening, we were in our usual place. This is, by the way, in the middle of my terrible headache. This is from Hillcrest House, pictures. I went over there, as I always do, and I left. And that's when it was really starting. It's like, oh my Lord, what's happening? Just caffeine. But the regular Kessler Park crew was over at Hillcrest House, a wonderful apartment complex for those suffering with long-term HIV/AIDS. And we were there to serve the meal. And it's always a blessing to be with our friends there, and we get such really positive thank yous from them, which is not why we do it, but it feels good, obviously. And you start to see people. They are in the neighborhood, so I've seen some of the Hillcrest House guys just at 7-Eleven, for example, as I'm there, or out at the park. I saw another guy. So, and we had a visitor. We actually had a Hillcrest House visitor who came to church. So, grateful for that connection. I think it was Kat earlier talking about my porch. Yeah, Kat talked about the porch. Here's the porch right here. This is the front porch. This is where we used to do coffee on the porch. Started right down at the end there, near that broom and window, facing back this way, basically. I would set up down there and do my little live stream for the hour. And we have a similar porch that looks just like this one, same size, on the back of the house. So we have two remarkable porches that allow us to shift based on sun and weather. It almost doesn't matter how a storm is coming in. There's a porch I can sit on and safely watch the rain, which is super nice. This is how the back is looking. Everything's really coming along now. I've been reminded yet again that I think our gardens, I think it's just a summer garden. I think we just have a summer garden. We have summer house, I think, for gardens. We have winter is our indoor time. Fall, the leaves are falling. It's beautiful, but it's a mess. And spring, it's not enough sun now anymore to grow things. I'm looking out here. There's beautiful blue sky. That's our default now, and probably will be through September. Occasional storms probably, but mostly blue sky and hot. But spring is just this cloudy time, especially the mornings. So around here, it's been very difficult to grow things in spring. But summer, things just pop. And now we water it. I mean, I have a little dripper system that helps some of this stuff not die and burn up. But it's super nice. I'm really proud of myself. The last 3 or 4 weeks, I've really worked, frankly, worked my ass off to bring things back the way that they were at one point. I just wanted to note this. This is my own "How is your soul?" and my own soul is a little melancholy still. This is a beautiful picture of our beautiful neighbor, Trini Tijerina. Trini was our next door neighbor, right over here. Oh, I didn't finish. Right over here. And just beyond the house next door. And when Denise and I moved in here in 1994, she was our next door neighbor. And so we've known her a long time. And the beautiful thing about her and her family is her two daughters, who are older than me, also live on the street. Well, I shouldn't say they're older than me. I have no idea how old they are. I think Connie is older than me, and Doris maybe isn't. It doesn't matter. The point is that their children and their grandchildren are here. So 4 generations of Trini's family are always kind of moving up and down the block. And when I say we have a walkable neighborhood, everybody in the neighborhood does walk around. We walk over to the Garden Cafe. We connect with each other here. But the Tijerina family, in all their different subgroups, they're a major part of this. And they've been in the neighborhood decades longer than any of the rest of us. I mean, we're early, 1994, but they were like the 50s and 60s. So she was 94. She lived a beautiful, beautiful life. She was the matriarch of this incredible family. And it is heaven on earth, Kat. It really is. It's my little, I call it sanctuary. And so Trini's service was last Friday, and it was such a tender moment for us, for her family. God bless her and this beautiful family that have become such friends over the years. It's really, you just can't buy relationships like that. You just experience them over time. You know, that's what happens. You experience and live it day to day. That's really all you can do. Saturday, there was a rally, and yes, I was there. I don't go to every rally. I really don't, but I did go to this one. This was sponsored by Indivisible, and it was in honor of John Lewis, Congressman Lewis. And so I was honored to speak on behalf of Clear and Kessler Park United Methodist. Was very happy and honored to speak on their behalf. Here's our Clear clergy that were there. I meant to put the Kessler Park people's picture, and I just didn't put it in here, dadgummit. But anyway, these are my Clear friends, clergy from the Dallas area. And, you know, as you know, we try to support all these social justice things that are going on in our world right now. So grateful to them, grateful to be able to be in service. Okay, I have some other pictures and things to show you, but I think I'm going to do a song now, because one of the other things I've been doing... Actually, let me get another cup of coffee. One more. As I think I've been telling you, I have already started working on yet another record, and I'm working on a demo of this song. This is not the main thing I wanted to talk about today, but I think I would like to play this song for you just because it's on my mind. This song is called Tell Myself. We talk a lot about how the Great Commandment has 3 parts. Good morning, Leah Rutchick. It has 3 parts: love God, love your neighbor, love yourself. This is the self part. And I always say to people, and people, I say this because I know it about my own life, that we can say terrible things to ourselves that we would never say to another person in the real world. And yet somehow we give ourselves permission to say terrible things to ourselves. So this is a song about that. I tell everyone around, follow your dreams, 'cause every time you try, your failures are redeemed. I tell everyone around, always feed your soul, 'cause it takes you on the way you really need to know. I tell everyone around that you only get one chance, so every time you can, you should take the time to dance. But what do I tell myself? What do I tell myself? I can speak words of compassion to anybody else, but what do I tell myself? What do I tell myself? I tell everyone around, always feed your soul, 'cause it takes you on the way you really need to go. I tell everyone around, treat your body kind, 'cause it carries you the way to every way you find. I tell everyone around that the Holy One above sees you as a child and showers you with love. But what do I tell myself? What do I tell myself? Not my brother, not my sister, not anybody else. But what do I tell myself? 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 I can speak words of compassion to anybody else, but what do I tell myself? What do I tell myself? Tell myself. Tell myself. Tell myself. Song by me. Going to be on a new record that comes out probably next year. I don't know, end of this year, first of next year. Not really sure. But you know, I love that song. It's a hard song, though, right? I mean, that's a hard song to hear, isn't it? Because you know, it is true that many of us can say very kind things to other people and very crappy things in our own head. So what is it that we tell ourselves? And I just wanted to name that. There's no solution in this song. Compassion, self-compassion is the way. And, it's interesting that, Christianity's great commandment, Jesus' great commandment, has self-love in there. It's the part we always forget. Love God, love your neighbor, love yourself. Third thing, love your neighbor as yourself. It's three loves. It's a trifold love, three-legged stool that keeps our lives up, loving all those together. And of course, we're surrounded by narcissists and a narcissist culture, and woo, look at me, and Instagram, beautiful pictures of everybody acting like they're perfect and wanting to seem perfect, or wanting praise and adulation like the president on the stage with the Spanish team and the guys like pulling him away. It's like, dude, this is not your moment. Come on, man. So it's very easy to, when we're surrounded by narcissism and people who are selfish, it's very easy to denigrate self-love and say, well, I'm going to be the opposite of that, so I'm just going to love other people, or I'm going to love God. Nope, got to also love yourself. Got to tell kind things to yourself. Speak words of compassion. So I will say, I shared this song with my therapist recently, and he was very perceptive. It's like, okay, Eric, so yeah, what do you tell yourself? And he just let the question sit. Like, oh, damn. What are the good things? What are the healthy things? What are the kind things that we say to ourselves? Can we appreciate our successes? Can we be grateful for what we have? Can we build out from that? Can we trust that we are enough in the moment, even if we haven't achieved everything we wanted to achieve, or even if, this is a more coffee moment for sure, or even if our lives are falling apart, even if everything's falling apart, can we still say, yes, but I'm working on this piece, and this is what I can do, and for today it is enough. I'm reading a new book. I'm going to just not say much about it today, but it's called The Awakened Brain. And you know how interested I am at connecting brain science with spirituality. Well, this is a whole book about that. And I don't know how I didn't find it when it came out. It's by a woman named Lisa Miller from Harvard. And she's made it her life's work to show and demonstrate the parts of the brain that are activated when we are in spiritual experience. This has now been documented and replicated, and it's a fascinating book. It's not a didactic book or a partisan book in terms of particular spiritual. It's not a Christian book or a Buddhist book or anything, but it's talking about, spirituality has been a part of human experience for thousands of years. And modern science tends to dismiss it. But she is showing, in fact, that there is actual genuine benefit from prayer, from meditation, not just meditation, but also prayer, from practice, from worship, from corporate worship, from acts of compassion when we are doing them from our religious calling. And so, she's not saying, therefore, excuse all the sins of religion. Quite the opposite. She's saying this is not really about a religion. This is about how we are built as humans. So it's called The Awakened Brain. And where I was going with this is she talks a lot, this is a concept that's very helpful to me, about two kinds of brain activity. One is the awakened brain, which is the spiritual side of our brain. The other is the achieving brain. And that we spend much of our time today in the achieving brain, our jobs. You've heard me say many times that we are surrounded and bathed in logic, in scientific method, and that there's nothing wrong with that. I keep saying that. But it's not all there is. factual truth is not the only truth. There is art, there is spirituality, there is relational truth, which is sometimes there is emotional feeling truth, which are part of truth. There's intuition, which is truth. And so this is what Miller would call the awakened brain. And what I like about it, and I'm going to write her maybe even today because I'm so impressed with this book. She, I think what she's getting at is the thing that I say over and over, that spirituality in my mind has always been more closely related to the arts than to the science. And that hundreds of years ago in modern history, in the last 500 years, we put theology next to academic theology, academic philosophy in university. Excuse me, sorry for coughing. And so academic theology became very structured in a logical way, as if it could be a hard science. And it's not a hard science. That doesn't mean we shouldn't do it. But it also means that's not all there is. It's actually describing a creative spiritual process, which is separate and in addition to the logic. So where I'm going with all this is that I think self-compassion is a part of this. Self-compassion is a part of getting out of your achieving brain, and your achieving brain, which says, I should have done the shoulds. Here's my to-do list and I only did half. You suck. No, you did half. Congratulations. And it's a part of the creative process, and to trust in the process. Okay. So tell yourself kind things. Treat your body kind. Feed your soul. Don't give in to fear. That was a verse I left out. I haven't played this song much lately, interestingly. And so I left out the verse, don't give in to fear, because the song you need to sing, somebody needs to hear. Trust in the process of intuition, and don't dismiss the signs you get that say, I should do this. I'm feeling the nudge. I'm feeling the call to this. Listen to those. Don't dismiss them. This is what Lisa Miller would say, I think. So there's going to be much more about that book in future Coffee on the Porches. But on Sunday, we will encounter in the gospel lesson, and I may come back to this next week, the parable of the mustard seed. And this is about that same trust, I think. Trusting that great things can come out of small seeds. That things can start. Mustard seeds, I meant to bring one up here. It's literally, it looks like a flea. Like if you saw one just on a counter, you'd go, oh, damn, the dog has fleas again. Nope, it's a mustard seed. Tiny, tiny little seed. Now, it is not the biggest of trees, honestly, but the point is taken that it starts as this tiny little speck and grows into something beautiful. So Jesus, in the lectionary this summer, is talking about all these agricultural parables. And I believe we talked last week. I hope we did. I hope I haven't jumped ahead. We talked about the parable of the wheat and the tares. I think I did. Didn't I talk about this? The wheat and the tares? Wow. If I didn't, I just realized I didn't upload my picture of the week, my wheat and the tares essay. Let me see if I can do that real quick. I probably can't. Substack essay of last week was about the wheat and the tares. And so that's an interesting parable because what it points out to us, a lot of modern preachers will preach on that parable. And I think they they just say weeds because weed is easy because we don't have tares around here today. Nobody knows what a tares is. Where did it go? Where did I do with that? Oh, it was this picture. I think I showed you this picture last week. Let me see if I can screenshot this and upload it while I'm talking. But I had my own painful example of the weed and the tares last week while I was gardening. I think I showed you this picture. Maybe I didn't. I'm just now realizing I may not have talked about any of this. That may have been after we met last week. Let me rectify that right here. Because while I'm talking, I'm going to upload this picture. I'm going to make this happen. Doom. One moment, and I'll keep talking behind the scenes while I'm describing this. So, last week, I believe it was after we met, in fact, now that I think about it, I was working in the garden back there, organizing things, trying to control things, trying to control where things go. That's the humbling thing about gardening. As I've said many times, gardening reminds you that you're actually not in control. But we have the Turk's cap, which is the big plant. Ours are about 4-5 feet high. Beautiful red, tiny red flowers that bloom all summer. It's a summer superstar. And this is the time of year for the Turk's cap. But it spreads out. And it spread out so far that it encroached on the coneflower, the echinacea. And so I said to myself, Eric, here's the deal. Go in. I had my cup of coffee with me. Wasn't meaning to stand out there a long time. Wasn't meaning to do a lot of stuff. But I went out and I said, let me just snip back a couple of pieces of the Turk's cap so that the echinacea can grow. And this is what happened. And I hope you can see there the tragic result that I ended up cutting 3 of the beautiful coneflower echinacea. I chopped them off while I was trying to chop off the Turk's cap. So that is the hubris that we can have about our gardening. And that was last week's parable. And Jesus says, don't do that. Don't pull out the tares. Just do what you can do. Don't worry too much about who's the evil seed and who's the good seed and all this. Just do what you can do and trust in the growth. And so that gets us to this week's parable, this parable of the mustard seed, that beautiful things come, beautiful growth comes from small seeds. And here are the pictures I want to show you about that. This may be a little small for you if you're looking on a phone, but these are 2 pictures. I have the bigger versions, but this is the side by side. This is something we did last week, which now has inspired me about this parable. There on the top, you see Denise, my wife. That's our house, and the year is 1995. We're pretty confident, probably summer of 1995. It might have been 1994. I think it was 1995. We really don't know. But then on the bottom, that is a picture from just this week. And it's the same house. You see the house, but look at the difference. You see Denise and Maria, and you see our new dog, Holmes, as opposed to our old dog, Max. Let me give you the close-ups. This is the 1994 shot. This is the backyard in 1994. Now, I want to draw your attention to the growth. First off, yes, we put in these we put in these, put in that beautiful patio area with the lights and all that stuff. But that tree on the right hand is no longer here. That died 20 years ago. It got worms or beetles or something, and it died. And it was cut down at some point while we were gone. I'm not even sure when that happened, in honest truth. But I want you to look at the small shrub just over her left shoulder, and then I want you to look at the other small shrub between her and the larger tree. Those are tiny oak trees. Those are tiny little oak trees growing up. And there's the picture from today. And those massive oak trees that you now see, those are those two little shrubs. You see the two little shrubs? See the two little shrubs? Those are those massive oak trees. And of course, our daughter has come along. Well, our daughter was not with us in 94, 95. And Max, our dog, has been gone for a long time. But we have another yellow dog. So I love these pictures, and I had wanted to do this how it started, how it's going kind of thing for a long time, and we ended up doing it this week, and then it dawned on me, oh, that's the parable of the mustard seed right there. We trust in the growth. We did not plant these oak trees. We did not. They were here. They came with the house. The Odeskis, I'm assuming, the people we bought the house from, planted them. They probably planted them when they moved out, in fact. And now they are just remarkable. The shade they give is astounding and stunning and beautiful. So, it's an old expression that one of the signs of human hope is to plant a tree whose shade you will never see. The other piece of that is that we are experiencing the growth of those that we can no longer see, those that came before us, those that built what we now enjoy. And so there's the metaphor right there. There's the whole story of the mustard seeds, probably my sermon for Sunday. And so this is the third of the parables about growth. The first one was about the sowing of the seeds. Jesus sows the seeds everywhere. Our job is not to worry if we're good or bad seed. That's not the point. The point is a sense of ubiquity, not ubiquity. What's the word I'm looking for? A sense of acceptance of what comes. Equanimity, a sense of equanimity about accepting the good and the bad of life. Sometimes good seeds grow, sometimes they don't. Last week, don't pull out the bad seeds. Not your job. Not your job as a human. Humans, that's not our job. Wheat and tares grow together just the way it is. This week, trust in growth. Trust that there is a spirit of growth. There is a spiritual realm. And that if we embrace it, if we trust our intuition, if we trust our vision, we can lock into, we can be a part of a flow, as Csikszentmihalyi said. I believe that's his name, the theorist that talked about the flow state of athletes and the flow states of musicians. Life itself has a flow state that we can experience through our awakened brain, trusting in growth itself. So, that's the message for the week, my friends. That's what I came here with you today. And I know we feel small. We all feel small. And we all feel insignificant in this time. And we all feel like the problems are beyond us. and that we are but these tiny little drops in the middle of a vast ocean. And that is true. We are. We are insignificantly small in the vast universe. But great things come from small seeds. And so your contribution, what your gifts can offer, makes a difference. Don't fool yourself into believing you don't matter. Speak kindly to yourself, love yourself, and do what you can when you can to make this world a better place. That is how growth happens. That is how this picture turns into this picture. So, yeah, there you go. There's the message for the day. All right, friends, hope you enjoyed that. I enjoyed that. That was more than I anticipated I would be saying. That was beautiful. I thought I needed it. How about you? All right, we are... Oh, how did I start a... look at y'all. I started an outdoor walk on my watch. It's been going on for an hour. I'm definitely not walking now, Apple Watch. I don't know what you are thinking here, but I'm going to stop that. It says I walked a distance of 5 feet while I've been sitting here in my chair. That's a little disturbing. All right, friends. I hope you have enjoyed the hour. We had a lot of nice folks here, a lot of new folks here. This is Coffee on the Porch. This is the live stream that we do every week. If you are a subscriber of mine on When EF Talks, my Substack, you will get an email reminder to join us that comes out as we go live at 9:30. But as I've said, a lot of people like to be pre-reminded. They like to get a little nudge ahead of the meeting hour. So I send a text message once a week at 9 o'clock saying, "Hey, we're about to be live," and then we go live. And so if you want to sign up for the text messages, this is where you sign up. And I promise I'll only send you that one text message a week. You can scan the QR code or copy down the URL and sign up for the text message nudge for Coffee on the Porch. All right, we just had the one song today. We always remind you of the songs we play. It's one of mine. No covers today. This was a song that's going to be on the new record. I think I now have 7 songs, demos, in-process demos for 7 songs. I'm really stunned, honestly, that we're in this place and that it's happening. It's been wonderful. I'm really getting into an ability to work faster and harder. Not harder, but faster. Yeah. All right, friends, time to say goodbye. Would you like to say goodbye? As you are saying goodbye to one another, I want to remind you my music is always out there. In addition to the writing on the Substack, my other creative outlet is my music, and these 2 records are out wherever you find music. Would love for you to add them to your playlists or get a CD and find a CD for yourself if you're still in the CD world. Okay, looks like that's going to be it for the day. Wow, I wonder where this outdoor walk came from. That's going to bug me. I don't know. All right. I am going to sign off here in a moment, and I am going to finish my coffee this week to avoid the caffeine headache. And I hope you have a great week wherever you are and wherever you join us from. I hope you'll tell your friends and feel free to come back for the weekly live stream. It helps me, always helps me. Do a little traveling mercy. Denise and I will be on a trip this week. We'll be out of town as of tomorrow for a bit, and then back with hopefully travel stories as we come back to you next week. Until next week, friends, God bless you and keep you. This has been Coffee on the Porch with Eric, and you have a great week, okay? Bye-bye.